Welcome to another edition of BadgerBeat, your weekly look at the UW football team. Here today with Tom Oates and Tom Mulhern, heading into the season finale, regular season finale against Penn State. The big picture, Oatesy, there's a lot on the table here. This is a huge, huge game for this program.
Yeah, for a season that at one point looked dead in the water after a couple of losses, Wisconsin has really put itself in position for a series of interesting games here. They got a winner-take-all game with Penn State for the leaders division. A possible rematch, or a certain rematch for the winner now with Michigan State, which would be a bit of a revenge match for the Badgers, and then possibly a Rose Bowl if you win that game with a very high-profile and interesting Oregon team. I think there's some great possibilities left yet in this season, even though at one time it looked like all those possibilities were gone.
How about that Legends division? Michigan State has really established themselves, legitimately as the top team in that, and obviously clinched. But tell me a little bit about what you've seen from them since the Badgers played them.
Well, I think that's going to be an interesting fact, is that they have clinched and that Wisconsin is still fighting to get to that game. Now, Michigan State said they're going to play everybody this weekend, and they're not giving breaks to anybody. But they play Northwestern, and I don't think it's going to be, you're talking about playing 14 games for Wisconsin if they get to that title game and a bowl game, and it's a stretch that they've never gone through before. That's one extra game, and this is a beat-up Wisconsin team right now. I just wonder about the physical toll of Wisconsin playing a tough game at the end of the season, while Michigan State has perhaps a little lighter game against Northwestern.
This weekend's opponent, Penn State, there's been so much talk nationally about the great tragedy there. Oatesy, people forgot that this was a football team that was still capable of winning games, correct?
Well, I think so. I think the prevailing opinion was that the football team might fold along with everything else that's gone on at Penn State. And especially after they turned around and lost to Nebraska at home, it looked like they might be in for a slide. And for them to go on the road and beat an Ohio State team at Ohio Stadium, to me that was just really impressive, and it shows something with the Penn State players. It really does. It shows that none of them were involved in what's going on at Penn State, and they have pulled together and maybe become a better team. I think maybe even some of the coaching's helped a little bit with going with one quarterback and things. But to me, the most impressive thing of all is the way the Penn State players have just pulled it together and really actually improved.
Second straight week that the Badgers will face a tough defense. Penn State, would you rank them as the top defense that the Badgers are going to face?
Well, it's interesting. We've heard this from the offensive coaches at Wisconsin now maybe 4 times, that this might be the best defensive front they've seen. We heard it for Michigan State, we heard it for Ohio State, we heard it for Illinois, and now we're hearing it again for Penn State. And in a season where there's some great defensive tackles in the Big Ten this year, Devin Still from Penn State might be the best. And just talking to Paul Chris, the offensive coordinator, yesterday, he was really, really impressed with Ohio State's defensive front, but it was a young group. Well, this is a seasoned veteran group at Penn State and extremely physical. I mean, Illinois last week was really quick and athletic. Penn State really, really physical. So I think that's going to be a huge challenge for a Wisconsin offensive line that's a little beat up right now.
Senior Day on Saturday here at Camp Randall Stadium. Let's talk a little bit about a senior on each side of the ball. We'll start on the defensive side. Aaron Henry, a guy who has seemingly been here a lot longer than he has, just such a vocal leader. Tell me your impressions of him through the years.
It's just interesting when you see a guy come as a freshman and he might be in a different position, and then the guy you see leave as a fifth-year senior. And I don't know of many guys. Aaron Henry was impressive. Anybody who talked to him the first day he was on campus was impressed with him. But to see the growth in this guy and the giving back to the community, the things he does off the field. Brett Bielema talked today about a speech he gave at a scholarship banquet for 10 minutes, no ums or ahs, speaking from the heart, and he does that to church groups. He's just really an impressive guy, and you want to get Brett Bielema emotional this week, all you have to do is ask him about Aaron Henry.
On the offensive side of the ball, it's a flip situation, a guy who showed up here in the summer in Russell Wilson.
Well, Brett Bielema has talked about kind of the uniqueness of this senior class, that they've kind of come from everywhere, and no one has come from farther than Russell Wilson, who a year ago at this time was probably planning or thinking about maybe playing his senior day at North Carolina State, and here he is. But to see how this young man has come in here and basically just fit in so quickly and so seamlessly, accepted by his teammates, accepted by his coaches, accepted by the university community, the fans, just no missteps, just has handled himself so well on and off the field. Really an impressive guy, and I don't think we have to expound about how he's kind of pulled everything together for this team at the quarterback position, because he's been very, very good every single game.
Thanks for joining us this week. We'll have full coverage on madison.com leading into Saturday's game.